Hey, I'm Danielle, a techie serial entrepreneur.
I'm Cicely, a health tech nurse.
I'm Priscilla, and I'm an award-winning creative.
Welcome to the More Than Graphics podcast, a virtual safe space for women and minorities in the tech and creative industries. Together, we're that tribe. Well, hello. It's another episode of the More Than Graphics podcast. I'm Danielle.
And I'm Priscilla.
And the two of us today are making the unanimous tribe that we call MTG. It is a virtual safe space for women and minorities in the tech and creative industries. And today's topic of guts is my favorite. I think it's going to be my favorite so far of the season. I'm so pumped because guts is the topic. And I'm saying with that type of euphemism, with that extra because it's guts.
That's the only way to say it.
Yeah, it is.
Good.
It really is. Priscilla, what's new in your world?
All sorts of new things. We don't have enough time for all the new things. No, but I'm excited because I am doing my first kind of big collaboration with another female Asian entrepreneur.
Yes.
So I'm very excited about that. And just, I was telling everybody no surgeries this year. So, hey, we're good.
Hey.
I got all my guts back.
That is so timely. I feel like when I think about guts, I think about, that part. I also think about, the guts, the stamina it takes to do something, right? I'm also thinking about like guts in general, like oozy guts, like all the things. Paul Fields give me the horror films. We're such horror buffs, so guts.
Yeah.
And then girth, right? Like I said, we talk about the girth, the audacity to do something. And I love that word audacity because I feel like when we talk about that word, especially when it comes to women in tech and women creatives, when it comes to women of color of any kind, girth is kind of like our main play across a lot of different divides. So I'm really excited and pumped for this episode. Priscilla, would you like to introduce our guest?
Monèt Noelle Marshall is a visionary artist, cultural strategist, and storyteller whose work spans theater, film, public art, and even meditation. Monáe is a founding artistic director of MOJOAA Performing Arts Company, where she amplifies Black playwrights and creates immersive works that challenge us to think deeply about identity, race, and belonging. Her work has gained national attention, including a feature in Gucci's Chime for Change zine in collaboration with the African American Policy Forum, where she used storytelling to elevate critical social justice issues. She's also the writer behind a deeply resonant meditation for Black women that has garnered over 100,000 views on YouTube, creating a healing space for listeners to reconnect with themselves and their power. Whether through directing award-winning projects like Escape to Freedom or co-founding initiatives like Grounded Possibilities, Monáe's work is a masterclass in using art to inspire change. She's here to share her insights, her journey, and how she's shaping a world where art and justice go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Welcome, Monáe.
Thank you.
Girl, I'll read that bio and I just get so excited. One, because there's a lot of localness that kind of follows suits with a lot of things that you're doing. And I'm also just inspired, period, because it's happening somewhere else. Like, thank you. These spaces, these conversations, these experiences are happening beyond the scape and plateau, wherever I'm at. So thank you. Welcome. How you feeling?
Thank you. I'm so glad to be here. Thank you both.
So when did you realize that art could be a tool for social change?
Ooh, that's a great question. Well, I will start by saying that I come into art through my mama. My mama is an artist. She's a dancer. She's a choreographer. She can sew. She can paint. She bakes cakes and decorates. She braids hair. If she watches 3 YouTube videos on a thing, she can do it. That's who she is. So I got it honest. But I will say that I was 10 years old and I choreographed this piece It was Yolanda Adams. I opened up my heart. Shout out to Yolanda Adams and all the church kids out there. And I showed it to her, and I showed it to her, and she didn't treat me like a little kid. She was like, she took me very seriously as an artist. And she was like, I want to learn this, teach it to me, all of that. And from there, I was like, oh, I can impact people. So I don't even think it was that first social change. It was just like, I can impact people with my art. And that felt so empowering, being like 10 years old and impacting people of all ages. So that was the first time, I think.
Yeah. Oh, that made me like feel I almost got teary-eyed already with that when you're talking about your mom inspiring you, just like, because, Danielle and I and Cicely, just us being moms, it's like, I'd love to know that someday, maybe today, my daughter will tell me that. So how do you navigate the balance between creating art that's both beautiful and impactful while addressing challenging and sometimes painful realities?
Well, one, telling the truth. I think that, I'm a Black woman. I'm a Black woman who lives in the South. I live in North Carolina. I'm a Black queer woman. And I think just telling the truth of my life is inherently, like, one, it's inherently political. And two, it's inherently, I think, going to shift something. Because I think that there is a truth that I have access to, not just in my own lived experience, but also like my grandparents. Like my four grandparents really span an American story. Like my grandfather was a farmer exploited under sharecropping, and my mama grew up on a sharecropping tobacco farm. My other grandfather was a vet. My grandmother taught. Like, it's just, so I think if I access both my story and also the story of my people, I am going to, one, create something that's going to be impactful. And I think beauty is a difficult word. I think it's a necessary word, and it's difficult because I think there's aesthetic and what we think is beautiful because that's what the world has told us is beautiful. And I think for me, what is beautiful is when people have an authentic and intimate connection to something, to themselves, to each other, to the planet, to God or spirit or universe. If that encounter happens, then I think something beautiful happens.
I love that.
I'm going to crawl into this. I mean, how do I get from here to there? Can we just go like this? Can you just pretend?
Just here you go.
I love this so much. Okay, so much of that embodiment, everything you just said, encountering an experience, sometimes spiritual, sometimes worldly, but an experience is something that is beautiful. And that is exactly the type of impact that I have rooted my business, Octane Design Studios, in as well. Even though we don't perform, we're not on the level that you are by no means. But we fully believe that our experiences can help enrich the lives of others. And I think it's so important that we lean on our lineage to go forward, not leave our lineage in the past. Whatever treachery that we kind of fell upon, that we feel like that was some of a roadmap for us, that's the wrong stars to follow. So I feel like personally, when I think about that opportunity to, again, use experiences to create beauty, that's wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah. It's my joy. I think I love being who I am, and I love my people, and we have such rich stories, and I really love inviting other people into those stories. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so tell me how to properly pronounce. Is it MOJOAA? MOJOAA. How do you say it?
MOJOAA. So MOJOAA stands for Monáe, Jordan, and Aaron, which are me and my brother's names mashed together. For this made-up word, because it's a family theater company. So I've been running the theater company with my family it'll be 11 years in a few months.
Wow. Okay, so that was my question. Kind of what inspired you to found that name specifically? And then what specific gap were you looking to fill in that artistic landscape?
Absolutely. It was Black theater. It was like we moved to the Triangle. So I'm originally from New York, and we moved to the Triangle region of North Carolina in 2012. And, Me and my mama were both theater folks. She has multiple degrees in theater. I have a theater degree. And we just looked around and we're like, yes, people are doing plays, Black plays, but there wasn't a Black theater company operating at the time. And I love August Wilson and Lorraine Hansberry, like the next person, but there's only like they can't write any more plays because they are deceased. So we need to invest in living Black playwrights. And for us, it was like living Black playwrights who live in the South. Like we're not all going to move to New York. We should not all move to New York. I feel like one of my personal like values and beliefs that I will like go toe to toe on is like every community deserves art. So that we need to make every community livable for artists, period. So we were like, okay, we want to produce plays written by living Black playwrights in the South and Black trans playwrights living anywhere. Because we also know that, you know, for a lot of queer trans folks, like trans folks specifically, the South may not be the safest place to live all the time. So not wanting to limit. But so that's how we got to that. And it's been really wonderful. Working, we could do a whole other episode about working with your family, but you know, I love them. We still love each other. So after 11 years, that's a win.
That is a win.
But yeah, so that was the why.
I love that. And I love the fact too that again, starting from within, it's not having to go, and we hear this all the time, especially with Black and brown communities. We can't make it big in our own without going somewhere else to do it.
Right.
And I love the fact that you are actually sticking it to them. Like, no, we can do it right here, right now, starting today, starting yesterday.
Like, I own my home. I'm looking outside. There's land here. I can afford my mortgage. It's nice. You know, it's not that cold. And like, no shade. Like, my best friend still lives in New York. She's like, don't even tell me. I don't want to know how much you pay. I don't care. Don't tell me. And I'm like, you know, I love living here. I love being here. I love being a short drive from my family in Eastern North Carolina. And I'm like, there are planes. We have Zoom. Like, living in the South should not be a death sentence for an artist's career, you know? So
true.
I'll get off my soapbox.
Oh, no, you can keep on that one. I feel like that is one that we constantly don't hear enough of, is that you can do it here. You can do it now without feeling you need to go out somewhere else.
Right.
So yeah, playing, I'm so glad that you are one of very few out there who are sticking that narrative and saying, nope, plant seeds here. Don't plant seeds elsewhere. Plant seeds here.
Yeah.
I have one more question. We talk about this, your meditation for Black women, that's resonated with so many people. How did that project come about, and what do you think that the art, how does that allow for such deep healing and connection? Like, what is the story behind that?
That's a juicy question. Thank you. So it was not planned. I had some friends who were at a residency, some art residency, and they were having some really like difficult racially motivated experiences. And I sat at my table and I was like, I want to write them something. And it just came out. And I was like, hey, y'all, I wrote this for y'all because y'all were on my heart. And then I sent a voice note to some other Black women and like, hey, y'all, I wrote this. I just want you to have it. And they received it and they're like, Monáe, this is so beautiful. And because they were at an art residency, they had access to a recording studio. So it's a mother-daughter. So they went and they recorded it together. So if you go to the YouTube, you'll see these two beautiful women. So that's the mother and the daughter that I wrote it for. And they recorded it and put it on YouTube. So I didn't even really know. I think they probably asked for permission. I was like, yeah, sure. Like, I wrote it for y'all. And then for years, this was years ago. This had to be like 2017 or so. And then something was like, they were like, Monáe, do you know how popular it is? I was like, oh, I hadn't even checked. I didn't even know. And then recently I looked at the comments and one woman said, she's like, I played this during my home birth, like to ground me during childbirth. I was just like, oh, I would get text messages from friends like, I listened to this meditation on YouTube. Are you the Monáe that wrote? I was like, yeah, like I just didn't know. But I think what resonates, you know, sometimes we want a word that's written just for us, where we don't have to imagine ourselves at the center of a thing. We don't have to be like, okay, let me go around and let me think about myself as the protagonist or as the you in the story. But it's like, no, I wrote this to you, to Black women, to like Black women across, you know, gender spectrum, you know, like, and there's an openness about that And I think we live in a world that is always trying to take our breath away from us in a way that does not feel good. Not the cute, sexy, take your breath away, but like take our breathing and our peace. And I think to have something that is like, I want to celebrate every part of your body from your feet all the way up to the top of your head. I know I need that. So I'm a selfish artist. I make the things that I want for me and I just trust that it'll resonate. So that's how that came about. And I think, I don't know, I think I just want to invite artists to just make the thing that they need. Cause I think there's always, like the medicine is in what hurts us, I think. Yeah.
Oh my, medicine is, I love that. Okay. So hashtag deep feels, because I just feel like this is a conversation that so many Black and brown communities are having, but on different scales.
Yeah.
I do feel like in a lot of areas, even for me, like I really walk into spaces with a level of authenticity, and things that ground me or things I just naturally gravitate toward, right? But I completely agree. As an artist, like we're putting out the things that muse us. We're putting out the things that make us feel good. That is a form of self-love, self-expression. It's also a form of therapy.
Right.
So I feel like there's got to be a way where the things that we put out are also reciprocal, and other people out there are reciprocating what you're putting down. I'm totally guilty. 5 stars in. I absolutely love what you are doing, and what you are building is very, very beautiful. Priscilla, I had questions for you, like because we're talking about this specifically for Black and brown communities. Like, is there areas where you feel like this is such a need for art?
I think, well, what what's sticking in my head is, what you said about being, and I wrote it down, I'm a selfish artist. I really like that. It doesn't matter who you are, because I feel a lot of times, like you talk about the starving artist, right? Mm-hmm. But you're not starving, you're it's like you should be looking at reframing it. I talked to Danielle, we talk a lot about, I talk about reframing it, and it's like, no, I'm not a starving artist. I'm just selfish because I want my thing out there. And whether or not, that's I think it's kind of it's a hard part for some people to be able to be selfish for, because they might need to, they might not have that luxury to be able to be selfish. They may have to, bite the bullet and whatever. But I mean, I am loving, what you're saying. And I'm wondering, like, what kind of, impact, I mean, I know just me listening to it, I'm like, how can it not have an impact? Right. But what kind of impact would you want people to have it that, experience?
Ooh. So a friend of mine and we talk a lot about our work as like wanting to cause ripples. And I think sometimes I don't actually know what the outcome will be. I just know it's going to change people. And I think, so some of my favorite impacts of art I have made, and I want more of this. So with Escape to Freedom, which is an interactive and immersive presentation around slavery. So we do it in collaboration with the city of Raleigh on a site that was actually a plantation. So the original big house is there, and we take the audience through as if they are enslaved. And then they escape slavery together, and then they come back to me and I facilitate a conversation. And we did that from about 2015 to 2019. I think we're gonna come back this year, so fingers crossed. It's just it was the most impossible show to do during COVID, because literally you're like in the person's face like that. So but yeah, so there were 2 characters that my mother cast to play like lovers, and then they get married as part of the thing. And they got married in real life. They met during the show, they started dating, and now they are married. And I'm like, that as actually that's the kind of impact I want to have. I want to have impact that is about like people building connections, like going from I didn't know this person to now we're collaborators. I didn't know this person and now we are friends. I didn't know this person, but now we spend all this time together and we dream together, and I'm so grateful they're in my life. Like I was with a group of friends and they looked around, they were like, Monáe, I think we all know each other because you did that show. And I'm like, oh, Yeah. So for me, it's really about community connection, right? Because my work, I consider it rehearsal for the relationship. So I want to rehearse the relationships in community that we want and deserve. So when I'm in process and in rehearsal or working on a project, like I want us to move with ease. I want us to be careful with each other. I want us to take risk and play. I also want to be like, oh, that didn't work. Let's try something else. And when I'm in rehearsal, you can do that. And there's nothing lost, right? But when we're talking about community resources or policing or housing, those things feel so big that we don't give ourselves the same room to try, to risk, to say, I'm sorry, let's do something different. And, I know that's idealistic, but I want us to bring some of that to these other processes and to our larger community ways of being. So that's the impact I want to have. I want people to be more creative problem solvers. I want us to be more careful. And I want us to give ourselves permission to say, that is not working. Let's try something else.
Oh my God. I love that. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Priscilla.
No, I was going to say, I was, when you're talking, I was just like thinking of, kind of literally also with you saying about the matchmaking, was making me think like, well, art is kind of matchmaking, it's connecting. And so it was kind of it's really beautiful when you're talking about how the art actually did really truly matchmake in in a full sense. But I guess I've never really connected the two before, but I love that I love what you're doing. And I think that's just amazing to be able to give people experiences that may not, some people, I think art scares some people, like they feel awkward around it. But I think if you put it in a way in which doesn't have to be so far out, unattainable, but to do it in the authentic and genuine kind of way that's natural.
And I will say, and this is why I might have a personal definition of art that I think is more accessible, right? So I think about culture is how we be. It's how we behave. It's how we practice. It's our values. It's our, it's the ways that we move through the world. And art is the evidence of culture. Art is the evidence of how we be. So that is the things that we cook. It's the way we dress. It's the way we do our hair. It's, it's everything, because all of it is telling on, like everything tells on itself, right? So when I think about it that way, and not that art is in a museum, art is because that is historically, those would not have been spaces that have been accessible to folks like us, right? Like I know at the North Carolina State Museum, they integrated in the 50s and didn't start showing Black art until like much later. So it's like, of course, these institutions where they say this is where art happens don't feel like us. And if you are told that that's what art is, you're like, well, art's not for me. But if art is like the way you slam down spades cards, if art is the way that you like make your soup, if art is like how you lay out your garden and companion plant because your grandma's grandma did it, then you're like, oh, I actually live an artful life and I am like, that is artful. Yeah.
Oh man, all the feels. I just love this. I'm not gonna cry, but I'm really close. I really love the fact that immersive art, life is immersive. And the closer we get to art, the closer we get to living. And I just think that is so retrospective, how you have scoped this out, how you have kind of mapped that out. It's such a real trajectory for people to experience life, to experience art. So I'm just very thankful that you've perfectly pointed it out this way. I love the immersive work that you do. Like I absolutely love it. I'm gonna have to find a way to get to North Carolina soon. I have family out there, so I am gonna have to find a way to we're gonna have to do selfies sometime soon. I really love the overall scope of work that you're doing, obviously, but is there a particular impactful story about the production pieces that you've done so far for you and the audience beyond the couple? Is there another story out there that was really impactful for you?
Ooh, yeah. So in 2018, I did 3 new pieces. I would not do that to myself again, but I was young and dumb. It's fine. So it was a series of work called the Buy It, Call It series. So the first show is called Buy My Soul and Call It Art. the second one was Buy My Body and Call It a Ticket. And the third one was called Buy My Art and Call It Holy. So in the second Buy My Body and Call It a Ticket, the last scene, or one of the last scenes, I stand in front of the audience and I have my hand up and I'm blindfolded. And I'm pretty much like, put your hands down if you weigh less than 250 pounds. Put your hands down if you would like pass the paper bag test. Put your hands down if you, and I just go on and on and on and on, like naming all these things, all these truths about my body, right? Put your hands down if, you know, you, like, I had jaw surgery. So I talk about, like, you know, someone in high school, someone looked at me and said I look like the Scream Mask, like, you know, all these things that are like both general and also very specific. And every night when I put take the blindfold off, I'm the only one in my hand still up, right? But there was a few nights where, like, larger bodied Black women would come to me after and they were like, I was with you for every single one except for the one about, like, your jaw. And I think moments like that, and sometimes they'd be crying or like just like so moved. And I think we have these stories about bodies where it's like, I'm the only one and I feel unloved, I feel undesirable, I feel ugly, I feel shame, I feel all these things. And I think doing that piece and having particularly these brown skinned Black women coming to me and saying I saw myself, and it was really transformational. And I think I think what it is that, you know, often we'll do the like, oh, there's not enough Black women, there's not enough representation, right? But if you dig even deeper and you limit and you get smaller and smaller until you're like, no, but are there thick-bodied Black women? Are there thick-bodied queer Black women? Are there thick-bodied queer Black women from the South? Are there, you know, it's like the power, like what it means for one moment in time for you to be the one that's like the leader, you to be the one that is the center stage, you to be the one where it's about your story. I think for so many of us, we do not get that experience. So when we do, we're like, oh, if this woman, this person can stand up here and these other 75 people in the audience can come and watch and see, maybe my story is worth being told. Maybe my story is like, it's important and it's necessary. And the things that I have believed about myself are not actually true. And that is what I felt and experienced. And so that was like the last scene. And then the way that the show ended, because I always did a pay what you can, pay what you want. And generally at the end, I stood in this room and I had like my bra and underwear on, and people wrote how much they were going to pay for the show on my body, and then walked in the next room and then like paid for it. So yeah, and so I'm like, I could talk about the impact of the audience and what they share with me, but also the impact it had for me. I'm like, I've been in front of my drawers for like, for half the city. So, you can't shame me about my body. Like, you just can't. You just can't. So
that is so
awesome.
powerful.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that, Monáe. It's like, that was beautiful. Like, I just love that. I think it takes so much power for us as Black and brown women to really understand the power that we individually have. And so when a lot of areas we feel like it's already taken away, or it's already, on a shelf, somebody else owns it, I'll come back to that later kind of feel. And it always inspires me every single time when we come against adversity, how it just automatically, robotically emulates out of our body. It automatically just rolls right out of us. We may not have the answers, but we know how to collectively come together and do the work. We know how to collectively come together and let things flow in a way that impacts not only ourselves, but others. We have that emotional intelligence to really progress us forward when the time comes. Now, mind you, there's been plenty of moments off and on in our histories for plenty of Black and brown people where we felt like, we didn't have it. We don't have it. We still don't have it. But there's so much in us that is yet to be really discovered in this area where we've tapped into, but the world hasn't tapped into who we are. And I love that you say that, Monáe, that people have, especially in the illustration of you talking about people writing the pricing of what they're going to pay you on your body. That is absolutely just very transparent and very raw and very visceral. And I feel like that is completely embodying a lot of what brown and black communities have to do almost to get people to do I don't want to say the right thing, but the forward thing, the progressive thing. Mm-hmm.
And let's just make it honest. Let's make it, it's already uncomfortable. Like capitalism is uncomfortable. It has told us that we are not worth as much, all of that. So let's make it, let's push it. You know what I'm saying? Like let's play. Y'all want to play these games? I can play these games too, you know?
Yeah.
I love that. Such power in this narrative. Woo!
What I was thinking about is, Monáe, I always say this every single time. I'm the grandma of the group. So it's very interesting. I love hearing it because I'm in my 50s, right? And so when I think about this, the confidence, I mean, I don't know your age or anything like that, but your confidence that you have at your thing, I think about it's gotten me up until now, or probably my 40s and 50s, where I've started feeling more confident about, I still, of course, still have some of these things I've got to work on, but overall, but I just think like, had I, when I was younger, had someone like you to like look up to or see, I mean, and it makes me so, sometimes, I do worry about like what life is looking like now. And I worried about when I had my daughter a little bit older, I'm like, oh, what am I putting her in? But knowing that there are people, like yourself and other beautiful human beings that are different, like the black and the brown, which my kids are, part of that, to be able to have that as an influence. And I feel particularly lucky to know that I am introduced, like through the podcast and everything, that I'm introduced to these type of people that I can say to my daughter, for instance, if ever she's feeling like such and such, hey, you know what? We had this person on here who spoke about this. And it's just I feel very like lucky and, very lucky right now to be able to have this experience that we're having right now, to be able to share it with, I know, like I'm saying, especially like my daughter who's in middle school, because that is like, we talked about this, Danielle, lots of times, that time frame, shit, just shit, and I love it. I mean, I'd love to hear like, as far as things that you're doing, like you talked about this mother and daughter, is you have like a lot of, like your audience. I mean, what age group? I mean, are they certain age groups that gravitate towards more? Yeah, thinking like, even like, this is a wonderful thing as older generation to see and feel like proud. Like you're not my kid, but I'm like, yes, thank you very much for paving that and allowing that to be, hey, this is what you need to do.
Yeah, thank you so much, Priscilla. Yeah. That means a lot. I think about middle school. Monáe a lot. Ooh, she was, yeah, God bless her, wherever she is. Middle school's hard. But I think that this is why we actually really need intergenerational conversations so badly, because I think we also get into these stories where like, it's just me. But if you can be like, oh no, honey, no. This is not who I was in middle school. This is not who I was in high school. Like I didn't even come out until I was 26. So, it really has been a journey of self-discovery. And also this whole thing about confidence, I'm like, I can be confident in the morning and not be confident by lunchtime. Like let's be clear. But I'm also a Virgo. So when I say I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it and I'm gonna get it as good as possible. Cause I'm like, I'm not gonna be out in public looking ridiculous. Like, come on. So I do think it feels, and I'm really grateful for my mother. And I lived in the house with my grandmother, my dad's mother, who was born in 1922 and passed away like in 2017, 9 days shy of turning 95. So I lived in this multi-generational home with these folk, the grandmother born in 1922, my parents born in the 60s, me born in the late 80s, I'm 35. And then, my brothers and things like that. So I think it helped. It helped. And I also had a mother who was really honest with me about a lot of things. Sometimes a little too honest, there's that. Love you, Mom. But being the only daughter, I think there was just certain things that she was like, I am going to make sure that you know about this. I'm just going to tell you. And I'm grateful because it's also set up an adult relationship where we can be really honest with each other. And I think I was also around a lot of women. My mother led the dance ministry at our church, and there was like 30 plus women in there, and all walks of life, from formerly incarcerated to judges, stay-at-home moms, PhDs. And they wrapped their arms around me, and I learned so much from hearing these different perspectives of how people were living their lives. So I think more than anything, I think we need to give young people and all of us diverse representations of what life is, so that you can know that, like, I don't have to live this one life. And also I can change my mind. I can change my mind and live differently if I so choose at any moment. Yeah.
Can I tell you, you're the only guest I think that's made me like really cry. Because I'm like, really, I mean, and also I'd say that when I had my daughter, she pulled out I used to love horror movies, and she pulled it out and she replaced it with like lots of deep feelings and stuff. But no, I mean, I'm just feeling like, it's just.
Okay, no shade, but like, I make people cry at my performances all the time. So this is like not,
Yeah.
I should be used to it at this point. But I'm just like, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I love it. I mean, I feel like my heart just feels so like, I felt like just listening to you. I told you about that little clip I saw. I felt like cuddle, but I'm like, for real. I'm like, where's like slumber partying in my soul?
We can have a slumber party whenever. I love a slumber party. I make great snacks.
I'll bring the snacks. Be prepared.
I love this. I mean, I love the fact that you're continually challenging and pushing, but you're also waning, right? And I think that's just beautiful. And I'm just so very, 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 very glad that you're able to share so much of that experience on our podcast. There are so many creatives who are listening to this, who are going to be inspired by your words, by the things that you choose to say, by the experiences that you've shared here on the podcast. So this is definitely such a humbling experience, and I'm absolutely inspired, in awe. I want to support in whatever way that I possibly can to see these efforts and your work come to fruition more and more.
Thank you so much. It means so much to be here. And I'll say this last, this thing on the theme of guts, right? I think that you do not need to have guts all the time to be brave and to be courageous. Like, when you got it, use it. And then when you're feeling a little scared or worried, it's okay to pull back. Like, no plant blooms all year round. It's okay. It's okay. And that doesn't make the other moment fake or the future moment when you're brave again not real. It's just, I think we just need to be more graceful with ourselves and remember that we're part of the Earth's ecosystem, which means sometimes we have blossom and sometimes we're like, everything is closing down. Mm-hmm. I need to rest now. And that's okay. Yeah, I just, nothing is forever. And yeah.
That makes me feel better as not having a green thumb, because I'm going to say, hey, Monáe said that it's okay, plant, that you died. You lived, and I will keep that memory on forever. But
it just makes me feel more optimistic about the world that we're living in, the climate that we're currently in for Black and brown people in America. It is, it can be overbearing, a little bit overwhelming. I literally am telling people every single day right now that the 3 things that I have to start my day with is sage, dochi, and meditation. That's like
dochi. Shout out to dochi.
Like, those are the 3 things that I have to kind of start my day in 2025 right now. So this gives me so much hope and gives me a lot of vigorous anticipation for what we can foresee in the next, little bit. Again, we are all going to go through seasons. We're all going to go through moments where it feels really great and then it feels really low. But it's what we choose to do in both of those moments that make us the better or bigger person. And I just kind of want to again, just continually praise you specifically for being able to be so open and honest and just very transparent on our show, on ways that we can support, develop, and encourage each other in these moments, feeling our gut and really living into our gut and knowing that it's a humble and honest and fulfilling place. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for this invitation. It's been a wonderful conversation, and I'm really grateful.
Where can people find you? I should have asked that question earlier. Where can people find you, follow you, do all the things, support you?
Yes. So on Instagram and Threads, I am Monét is Art. That's also my website, monetisart.com. I also have a YouTube, Monét is Art. And then my meditation album is out. You can find me on Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes. It's called Selah Volume 1. And shoot me an email. I work with artists and creatives to support your dreams and businesses who want to do creative projects. And you can find all that at monetisart.com.
I love it.
Finding you. I'm looking for you.
Okay, so I was listening to your album.
Found you.
You were?
So I was listening to your album before we got on this. This is awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. I'm like, seriously, I'll share this a little bit later, but yes, I'm really excited for this. And I'm excited for you. You have a lot going on, girl, for 2025, and I'm wishing all the stars, all the things.
Thank you so much.
Yes. I want to thank everybody for listening to the More Than Graphics podcast. For exclusive emails and comprehensive episode details, visit us at mtgthepodcast.com. Don't forget to connect with us on Instagram, LinkedIn, or Facebook by following hashtag MTGthepodcast. So until we meet again, we're reminding you that you are more than the work you produce. You are more than your name badge, and you are most definitely more than graphics. We'll catch you next time. This tribe with a vibe needs you. Share MTG on social media, on your lunch break with peers, or send an episode to your techie bestie. This podcast is produced by Octane Design Studios. Catch you next time.